wisdom and vision, locked out of heaven's division, earth ordinary man's prison, born to sin, the face been chin, in possession, takes a living, keeps on ticking, he's a man on mission.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sullivan Project podcast. I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. Starting out a little late there. Got a new little setup on a different lighting here. Something to tilt the camera back on. And I didn't realize how much of the thing was on the recording. I'm used to using the Google to play it. And I got rid of a couple devices. Got the Echo Show. And it takes place of a lot of the things I've been using. I've been blind almost 4 years in June. I'm not sure when this recording will be up, but yeah, it'll be 4 years. And I started a podcast shortly after that. We're in season 4, and I was born with autoimmune disease. So my cartilage dried up when I was young. I couldn't walk. I've been in a wheelchair, and everyone has a story. You can't judge a book by its cover. And I just don't want this camera to fall forward because it's a little weird here. I had to find something to tilt it back. I got to do all this by sight, or by feel, without having sight. But we got a couple things to talk about, and then he was going to join us now, but he's going to join later to talk about little-known horror films, which, there's so many. And him and I have almost 100 years in horror movie knowledge, so it was hard to think, well, what is little known? But right now I'm going to talk about cartoons that should be made into live action movies, ones that have not already been done. And also we're going to do a little tribute to Richard Donner, having Gene Hackman died recently. And the great director Richard Donner died before the podcast started here, I believe, before I started it. So first let me mention some stuff from Supernatural, a little bit of tidbits if y'all are fans of that show. Cass, actually, this is what's odd about the dude that played Cass, okay? He was on Charmed, okay? Which I didn't even realize back then, didn't know who he was. But then after I lost my sight, I was listening to old episodes, and I heard him because I just got the ears now, And I was like, wait, that sounds like him. His voice is a little different. And here, lo and behold, season 2 of the original Charmed, Misha Collins, yeah. And I guess he was supposed to have a bigger arc, but something happened and he didn't. Same with Supernatural. A couple times that happened. The first time they called in and played bluff and said, hey, we got another job. Do you want him? And they got him back. And then again, apparently, one of the actual producers or the head up guy on the WB or CW said, no, you got to bring Cass back. This was like in 7 or 8 season, 7 or 8. So that's just, it's something about him. It's odd. I would like to know the charm story there. And actually, Jensen Ackles, who played Dean, tried out for the Tom Welling role, who was Clark Kent in Smallville. And I was a fan of that show before Supernatural. And I remember Jensen on there later on actually he was playing like a football coach or something. And then he showed up in Supernatural. I don't remember him. I'll have a little bit of pain in my hips, so I got to move it a little. I don't remember him and Jared from, the other shows they were on. Just when they got together on there, I was like, okay, we'll see. And I guess originally they were going to be 2 cops. Like in the original versions of Supernatural, they were like cops, and they were doing the supernatural stuff. More like the X-Files kind of, I guess. But things turn out, they're different sometimes. And it's art. It's always like a progress, creativity. And it turns into something. Even when I used to do fan films and write, things come out different. Usually for the best, but then you're always thinking you could have did better no matter what. And you're always like, well, now I know I wish I did it this way. So that's what keeps you doing more. But yeah, so a couple other things here. We got the Mandela effect. I've mentioned that before. I've had this recently happen twice to me. And the Mandela effect means history is changing and certain people only remember it. And this is crazy because, I asked. I got. It's not. I'm not calling it Ziggy now. It's computer because I got the Echo Show and you can't use that name. So I'm literally in Star Trek now. So I asked it the other day about the death of. Uh, oh man, Corey Haim, right? Because I could have sworn it was something like drugs or whatever but maybe that's what you did. Here they said he just died of a pneumonia. It's like, wait a minute, how many people other than me remember it being something else, right? And then same with the clocks. When you turn them ahead and back, I could have sworn that it was always on Sundays. Now it's on Saturdays. And I'm 46. And in my lifetime, I know it's been. I don't remember it being all of a sudden it's Saturdays. Like when did they change this? This things are just little things, you know. But that's the Mandela effect. If you ever noticed that, maybe right into the show. Call in 724-513-1472. Email hs19782015 at outlook.com or Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube and TikTok. Harold Sullivan period 35 Facebook. Just comment, write, leave a message, share, follow, friend, whatever, anything. We appreciate. I'm just trying to, give people a place you can come on and be an audio or video guest, talk about anything or get something out, or I'll say it for you. Or if you want to participate in any of these questions, you know, or answer any of these questions I have, I appreciate that. Also, Dan, who's been on here several times, who helped me start out the podcast pretty much. He's been sick recently again. He has diabetes and lots of problems, psych meds, and he got real sick. Didn't take his psych meds for a couple of days over his diabetes, and was in intensive care for 9 days. I told him, I said, dude, call me, and if something happens, come and see me. If you go on the other side, do what you got to do, and then come and see me. I told him because it's sad to think that the last time you talk to someone or see him might be it. You know, so I try to tell people, love is a choice, and so is the hate. That's how I end the podcast. All right, and then Greg, who's on here a lot, also, I had a dream about him recently, or a vision or whatever. I think that's maybe a past life thing, because he looked different, but I knew it was him, and he was meeting with me. We were going to go do something, might have been other people, and but he was way like his weight was more. I don't want to say overweight. He was just bigger, I would say, and his one eye was gone, and he told me he's blind in one eye now. So I'm just thinking, because they say that you carry things through, and if that's the case, boy, I must be bringing everything from every past life with me now as far as pain. It's tough, but you only know what you can handle, so don't ever wish to be in someone else's. That's what I say, because pain is tough, and that's why I want people to come on here and tell me how did you make it from A to B, and you didn't think you could at that moment, you know. We have celebrities on here too to do cameos to explain that kind of stuff. So go check those out. Music I've been doing, and we're going to talk about some cartoons here, and then we're going to get into Richard Donner. Let's do the cartoons first. So cartoons, pretty much everyone's been made into movies now. So Heathcliff was an original back in, I don't remember when that was, maybe 80s, 70s. I don't know. The original Heathcliff. I think that'd be cool. And they could probably do real people with CGI animals, but I don't want a whole CGI movie or a cartoon like they did with Tom and Jerry in a live action though. Another one, Where's Waldo? That could be even a horror, and that was a game, and people don't remember Where's Waldo. He was a guy with striped out. But we're back. Jesus, the battery died suddenly. This happened the last time when I recorded Mackenzie's psychic reading. So I'm just gonna have to check before I use it. That's okay. Anyway, and then I couldn't get to come back on. And all of a sudden, it wasn't making the sound, so I'm blind. I can't hear the record button. I have to find special cameras that beep. So let's get back to Where's Waldo could be a horror, and another one I got Space Ghost. From a long time ago, there was only one or two seasons of that, but I think that could be a real good sci-fi. with today's technology and that sci-fi, Space Ghost. And then Herculoids was around that same time, another one, but that was prehistoric. That would be cool, kind of like a John Carter type, uh, dinosaur. Like I don't know. I just imagine that, something like that. Uh, and then Pinky and the Brain is another one that I thought of. The old like Animaniacs one. That would be cool to have like an animated them trying to take over the world, like the Pinky and the Brain. Let's see here. We have Pinky and the Brain, Heathcliff. Where's Waldo? Pinky and the Brain, Heathcliff. Where's Waldo? Space Ghost. Pinky. Where's Waldo? Space Ghost. Heathcliff. Herculoids. Let's see here. I had a couple more. Thundercats, which was a cool cartoon in the 80s. I think people were into cats and stuff, cat like people. That's another one I think would be cool. So we got Thundercats, Pinky and the Brain, Space Ghost, Heathcliff, Where's Waldo, and Herculoids. Yeah, I don't know if there's another one or not. But I think that's there's so many already been done, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Tom and Jerry. There was a Yogi Bear one. There's just been so many. I'm trying to remember there was one more, Pinky and the Brain. But let's get into Richard Donner, and then I'm gonna come back to that if I can think about it. So Richard Donner, he directed The Goonies, Superman 1 and 2, but part 2 is a whole story. The Omen before that, which was horror, and Lethal Weapon. I mean, this is all different genres. Most directors do one genre, or similar. John Carpenter does like sci-fi horror kind of, but he did all genres, and he's the one that fought for the rights for the Siegel and Schuster family to start getting paid again when he did the Superman movie in '78 and got the names put on. So whenever Superman stuff was out, you know, because they sold the rights a long time ago after they first created the character. So, but the family should get money. They should get something. So, but yeah, Lethal Weapon, great comedy action. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, of course, and you have the Goonies. I mean, come on. Hey, you guys, you got uh, the kids going on the adventure, One Eye Willie and the pirate ship, and then you have Superman. And the Omen is about a young boy who's like not good, but they're all different, and he brought his own thing to each one. And God bless Richard Donner. I mean, he just Superman too. If you haven't seen the Richard Donner cut, it's partly the original movie he wanted to do. They cut him out because of money and direct. They just a bunch of mess. There's a documentary about that too. I think check that out. But Richard Donner Superman 2, the cut is better, and he had a whole story to go, but money and whatnot, they cut him and Brando out of part 2, Marlon Brando, and remade it. So Superman 2, most people have seen was not the original. So Richard Donner, though, I'm trying to remember if there's another thingy cartoon, but I got a piece of Moldavite crystal. It's called Moldavite. It's supposed to be a meteor that crashed a long time ago, long time ago, and makes glass or whatever. I don't know, and it's green and clear, and they call it crystal. So I got a piece on a rope, and it's around my wrist. So that's my newest crystal or whatever. Now, let me see. I thought I had 7 cartoons. Let me remember again. Pinky and the Brain and Where's Waldo? Okay. And then I had originally Thundercats, uh, Herculoids, Space Ghost, and there was a couple other ones I can't even remember. This camera thing is messed up because my batteries never die like that, and they have 2 in a row. It's paranormal activity, spiritual, whatever. That stuff drains things really quick, and I usually don't have that happen. So we're gonna put these 2 together, and maybe another piece. Hopefully the first piece took. But like I like to say, love is a choice, and so is to hate. And let me see if I can remember again there as far as the cartoons. Pinky and the Brain, Heathcliff, Herculoids, Space Ghost, Thundercats, Where's Waldo? See, originally I had Thundercats, Herculoids, Heathcliff, and Space Ghost, and there was one that I can miss on Thundercats. I don't know, we'll talk about it the next thing, or I'll bring it up with Chris if I get it. But Richard Donner, check out his movies. He's got way more than that. But just those 4 different genres, different movies, I mean, and just great. And all the other great, directors are great too. So we'll be back with Chris. Love's a choice and so's the hate. What's up, everyone? We got Chris here. What's up, Chris?
What's up, everybody?
Now we just talk about the Penguin game there.
Yeah,
I answered. I answered like I was everybody. Jesus. All is one. But yeah, I got some exciting news. That's what I was telling you. We got a lot to cram in here a little bit. But we're up to 260 on TikTok or on YouTube. Actually, about the same on TikTok. But YouTube, we're at 260 subscribers. I checked today. So God bless, and I'm happy. People, please, keep checking, tune in, add, like whatever, follow, because we appreciate it. We're not selling nothing here. We're just trying to help. Give people something, a little bit of entertainment. Time to get away. It's like getting like a movie. You know what I mean? You get away a little bit, and that helps. To heal. It's like meditation. In my mind. A good movie or a song, you're out of your mind for a couple minutes, and you're in a good place, usually. So I want to tell you that. Also, I got Tuesday night. She's going to be the next podcast guest as of recording this. Remember, I got her to do a video for you, thanking you last year or the year before. So I got her on the podcast. So she's going to be coming up Tuesday night for my Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. They're playing Kristen. Are you there?
Wow.
Yeah, I got her. She was the third try, too. I tried a couple other people. But she actually, I haven't checked out the video yet, but it's there. So she sent back one. So I wanted to let you know that. Also, remember I was telling you about that Robert Englund documentary I was trying to find? I found it.
Did he answer you?
No, he's not on Cameo. But there was a documentary I was trying to find online. I was going to buy it, but I actually found it for free. The Robert Englund story. It's on Prime right now. I don't know if you have to buy it, if people have to buy it, because I have Prime, but it's the story of Robert Englund, and I actually learned a couple of things, man, that you might not know too, or you might know that I didn't know. But Nightmare on Elm Street was like Robert Englund's 20th movie. But he played a bunch of cowboy, and he said Hicks and West, that kind of
horror movies. He played in,
with accents and stuff, right? But he actually was a surfer. He was a surfer with long curly blonde hair and a tan.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I remember he had short hair. Remember he did V, the TV show? He was alien, like they were lizard people with human skin. Back in the 80s, that was his first TV show. It was called V. And he had short hair. You got to see Robert Englund's face. He played an alien. I don't remember his name. And Robert Englund's first movie he directed was 976 Evil. Remember that movie?
I remember that movie.
I didn't know he directed it. The first.
Yeah, he directed it. Yeah.
The first TV show he directed, Freddy's Nightmares. Speaking of that, I'm checking that out. I just checked out the first episode. Remember No More Mr. Nice Guy? You got that on VHS still, right?
I don't know anymore. I don't think I have it anymore.
I had it for a while. But
we were still in school.
Yeah. I only seen that maybe twice, and I just listened to the episode earlier. So it's the third time in my life ever. But Robert Englund directed a few episodes of that series. He did it so he could get his card, like his directing card. And he said they paid him a lot of money, too, to be on that show. But that was creepy, especially the first one, when he was in court and all that, and they let him out. It was like a prequel to A Nightmare on Elm Street, but it wasn't Nancy's. It was a different family. They had two twin daughters. It was a cop though, and his wife, and but the rest of the story was. But he was taunting them like when they were lighting them on fire. Freddie was telling him, he's like, "I am forever," and he was like telling him, "I'm gonna come back." You know, it was twisted how he did that. You know what I mean? Because you didn't really get to see Freddie before he was Freddie. But people should check that out. And also, I'm trying to think because there were so many things in that that you might not know that I didn't know about Freddie. Uh, let's see here. Oh, Robert Englund was almost Han Solo in Star Wars.
Yeah.
He went and auditioned. He was about that age, and they weren't sure if they were going with a younger or older guy, right? And he went in for Han Solo. He read. He pulled the script out because guess who his buddy was at the time? Mark Hamill. So he took to Mark Hamill. He took the script. Mark Hamill went and auditioned and got the role for Luke Skywalker. Without Robert Englund, Mark Hamill might not have got the role for Luke Skywalker. Can you? I mean, this is the story, and then now this is his version of what happened in Freddy versus Jason. All right, he says Ken Kersinger walks in because he's going to be the stunt coordinator on Freddy versus Jason. Ronnie Yu, the director, sees this guy and says, "Oh, I want him as Jason," and that's it. They fired Kane Hodder. So
Oh, that's not.
I mean, can you believe? Kane was devastated because him and Robert were friends, and they always wanted to do that together. But that's you know what I mean. Hey, and I didn't know this. Heather Langenkamp was on there. Her son died of brain cancer. He must have been young because if he died, you know, a few years back, she was talking about how he called her and you know and stuff. Uh, and so that's a little bit, you know, about Robert Englund that neither one of us might have knew. You think you know? You know what I mean? Uh, and then we're going to get into these movies here. One more thing, I found out who's going to be at the Steel City Con coming up here. Not a lot of horror people, but this is 40 years of Back to the Future, right? So I think there's some. It's like some kind of reunion. So there's a couple people. Christopher Lloyd is going to be there. Uh, Tom Wilson, Biff, you know, played Biff. I'm not sure. I'm sure maybe Elizabeth Shue or somebody. You know, Michael J. Fox isn't gonna. He can't do that and all that. But
He's got Parkinson's, yeah.
yeah, he does a little bit, but he ain't gonna come to Pittsburgh. And it's a happy day. So Henry Winkler is gonna be there. What's the little boy? What's the little Ron Howard? Elizabeth Shannon. Or no, Elizabeth. Yeah, from Scream and American Pie. Is that her name?
I think so.
Elizabeth.
I'm not really sure. I didn't really follow her too much.
Elizabeth, whatever. Oh, I can't remember. Not Elizabeth. Yeah, Elizabeth. But yeah, I wanted to let you know all that. And then let's get into this. Do you have any unknown horror off the top of your head? Little known horror movies you think people might not know?
Not off the top of my head, no.
But all these I think we know, but a lot of people might not know. You know what I mean? I'm going to research these. Let me tell you these things here real quick, though. How about this? How old was Jason when Jason died?
11.
And what year?
He was born in 46, so, yeah.
See, that always confused me because I thought,
Through Elias and Pamela Voorhees, yeah.
well, what year did he die? 58?
57.
Okay, so he was about to be 11. I don't know.
Yeah.
That confuses me because I'm confused that he was born in 46 or 47 and died in 57 or 58.
He died when he was 11, yeah. He drowned, yeah.
So he was born in 47 and died in 58? Or born in 46 and died in 58. He wasn't quite... okay.
He drowned in 57. Remember Friday the 13th?
Yeah, so he was born in 46.
Yeah.
Okay. And you answered two of the questions or part of the other one already. Can you, who was all Jason's relatives? You named two already, Elias and Pamela.
His two sisters. His one sister.
Well, he has
Diana.
He has one sister, right, Diana?
Yeah.
And the other girl's his niece or whatever, right, Jessica?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about her, so you got me. I was just thinking about the sister and the other two, so you got me on the extra one there. And then how about better or worse? The sheriff getting crushed in part 6 where Jason folds him in half, or the Freddy versus Jason bed where he folds the boy.
House.
Yeah.
First house.
Which one do you like better?
Which one's it?
The sheriff or the boy in the bed when Jason folds him in half? They're both the same, right?
Yeah, they're about the same.
But part 6 is the one where he crunches him and all that, right?
Yeah, part 6. Yeah.
You like that one better than the Freddy versus Jason? He just grabs him and just pop real quick, right?
Pops him and the Sheriff Garrett's probably break him in half. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that your favorite out of those two?
I don't know. They're pretty good. They're pretty creative.
About the same. Put them
Each one
even.
just throw up a toss up.
Okay. Here's a harder one. How about the boxing head punch off the roof in part 8, or the head or the heart punch in part 6? The heart grab and punch through his chest. Rorschach remember when they dug him up? He said, "I don't have the heart for this," or something, right? Or my heart's killed. No, he said, "I don't have the heart for this," and Jason pulls his heart like, psh. Which, or do you think those are about the same too? Those two?
They're about the same too.
I was trying to think of ones that they're difficult, right? Because they're close, right? Those two.
Right.
He either punches the guy's head off or punches his heart, like reaches, somehow punches through and pulls his heart out. The other pulls it out. I don't know how
He told Jason, take your best shot. You know.
Yeah, could you really do that though? I think your hand would go in his face. Like the head wouldn't come off. You know what I mean? But Victor Crowley and Hatchet just ripped off the head. He's strong enough. You know. I don't know. But here's a couple of little known horror before we go here. House, which we both know about.
Yeah, I have House.
It's a haunted house movie from the 80s with a TV cast. George Wendt from Cheers plays the neighbor guy.
Kay Lens. Yeah.
That's who was in the girl in it?
Yeah, Roger's wife. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cat, I just didn't know who the name was. And William Cat from Greatest American Hero, the superhero TV show, he just moved into a haunted house. His grandma had died and left him the house, right? And he was there, and it was crazy, creepy, crazy mind stuff. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Zombie Strippers, you've never seen that, you said, but that actually has Pam, not Pam, I was about to say, what's her name?
I can't believe I didn't see that movie, though.
Robert Englund, no, we were just talking about him. You'll probably find it one day on TV. What was that girl? I can't remember the porn star's name now. You remember her name? Jenna Jameson, when she started getting into movies, and she played a stripper, so. But it's basically Robert Englund is just this sleazeball that runs this strip club, right? With glasses on, just old Robert Englund, he's just himself, you know, and a zombie comes in and a stripper's sick or whatever, and she infects another one. All of a sudden, there's zombie strippers, and they're biting their clients, and and Robert Englund's like, "You're just sick, go up there and dance," you know, and it's just gross because they're zombies and they're stripping. And I mean, certain people might not, you know, but you might like it, you might not, you know what I mean? I didn't really like the stripping or that kind of part. But as far as zombies and Robert Englund, you know, I'd check it out. What else was there? The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. You ever remember that?
Ninth Gate?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Is that the one where he's trying to find this, all these missing...
I think so. Yeah.
There's all these missing things he's trying to put together to find this gate, right? Which my favorite movie is his was A Nightmare on Elm Street, of course. You know. Let's see. Afraid of the Dark, which might be a remake, but this has the girl who was married to Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. I'm not really a fan of hers, but it was about these little tiny creatures with red eyes that were in this house she moved into, like a grandma's house. And it was pretty creepy. It's maybe in the 2000s. It's not very old. I just thinking of weird ones that people might not, you know,
Computer, what are my stickies?
have a clue about. You know what I mean? I got these things on here. I got a couple more here. Not many though.
Computer, stop.
Jesus.
Dr. Giggles, Afraid of the Dark, Tucker and Dale.
Dr. Giggles?
Computer, what arm am I sticking?
Remember that? A lot of people don't remember Dr. Giggles. It was like some kind of sick hospital on the side of the road that people would pull over because they needed a hospital, and there was a messed up doctor named Dr. Giggles.
Yeah.
That was like in the 80s, too. That's another
That's way back. That's in the 80s, yeah.
lost movie there, right?
That movie got kind of lost. Yeah.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil is a newer one. And I don't know how to describe this. This is just about these like two hillbillies that live in the woods. But this stuff just keeps happening, and people keep dying, and it's like, what's going on? And it's like, who is it? And is it them, or it's trippy? But it's I don't know how to. It's one of the movies that you. It's just Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's called. You ever heard of that at all?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know how I find these
I
movies.
might have. I don't know. We're going way back.
The Frighteners. Feast.
Yeah.
Feast.
Computer, what arm am I?
Let me see. Feast. Feast with these monsters that hunt. Just come in this bar, right? Like an Evil Dead from Dusk Till Dawn, kinda. And this is one of the first movies I ever saw that had, like on the screen, okay, the dude walks in and it says hero, right? And it has below, like, they call him hero, like there was like stereotypes for each character, you know? And it was cool because it told a little bit about their backstory, so they didn't have to go in and say, well, this person does this, this, and that. And that actually has, what's the guy's name from, that played the dad in Freddy's Dead? I can't remember the old guy. He was in Critters. You know what I'm talking about. The guy that played all the dad in the 80s. All the dads. But he was in it. Rue something or other was the guy's name. Or, I don't know. But anyway, he plays the old guy in the bar. And then the dad from Supernatural, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is actually this guy banging a prostitute. Something else with a prostitute. But he's up there in the bar. And then this guy breaks in the bar basically saying these monsters are coming. And then it's called a feast, though. And then The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox, you know about that one, right? That's about ghosts and Michael J. Fox. He can see these spirits. But he's also like a ghostbuster because he has good ones with him to go around and he like fumigates the house, you know. And it's scary, though, because Busey's son, Jake Busey, Gary Busey's son, is in it. And I don't want to tell what he does, but if people know.
Jake Busey, yeah, I remember him.
Remember?
Yeah.
He was in that.
Hitcher too.
Starship Troopers. I don't remember the Hitcher 2.
Yeah, there's a Hitcher too. I've been waiting. Yeah.
Well, somebody C. Thomas Howell was the first one, right?
Yeah, C. Thomas Howell was in the second one too.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. See, you just taught me.
And they remade the Hitcher after that with Sean Bean.
Oh yeah. No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Wasn't the first one like Rutger Hauer or somebody?
Yeah.
Way back. See, that's the one I remember that I vaguely remember C. Thomas Howell. But those are some little known horrors. Hey, there's probably about 10 or so there. And I want to mention the Jetsons. I spoke about cartoons earlier that I think should be made into live action movies. They haven't done the Jetsons. That's about one of the only ones, right? A few others, but they haven't ever done the Jetsons yet. You know, so we're gonna sign off. Do you have any that you think they've all been made into movies? But do you have any cartoons or cartoon characters you think should be live, like in a movie?
Not off the top of my head, not now.
The Jetsons was a good one, though. You remember that cartoon? From when we were young? Well, that was before we were born, both of us, but the Jetsons. So, what we like to say, love is a story, or, everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover, and love is a choice, and so's the hay. And, you want to say bye, Chris?
Yeah, bye everybody. Thanks for listening.
We'll be back.